In today's video, we'll be talking about a potential leak on a huge PlayStation 4 title. How did the PS4 exclusive Spider-Man come to be? We'll talk a little bit about that, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake still looks like it's a long way out. Possibly it could be a PlayStation 5 title. More on that in a little bit. First, let's talk about a potentially huge leak. Tech and Games blog The Nerd Bag spotted a listing on Amazon Canada for an unannounced Splinter Cell game. It's a placeholder page for the time being, but it states Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 2018. The page looks to be an official Ubisoft listing, and that probably points to a likely announcement at this year's E3. It's been a while since we've seen a new Splinter Cell title. Back in 2013, we did get Splinter Cell Blacklist, and that was actually a really good game. Although it was released at a weird time period, it came out August of 2013, and the new consoles were just 3 months out, so it really didn't get a lot of attention. Most gamers just had their eyes on the new consoles, and these games that came out towards the end of last generation kind of got swept under the rug. But Splinter Cell Blacklist was a really solid game. It was a very short game, but an enjoyable game nonetheless. Now a brand new Splinter Cell title on current gen platforms and PC would be very exciting. And interestingly enough, on the listing it does state Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 2018, so could it be announced at E3 and see a very quick turnaround for its release? That'd be great to see. I've never been a fan of a game being announced and then the release being a year and a half out, and in the case for a game we're going to talk about in a little bit, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, a lot more years on top of that. I'm a big fan of what Bethesda likes to do in that they'll announce a highly anticipated title in June, say with Fallout 4, and then release it right away in November of the same year, and doing it that way really never lets anticipation die out. I'd love to see a brand new Splinter Cell title, and we have seen rumors throughout the years that a new game has been in development. Hopefully the game is officially announced at E3 of 2018, but I think it's a foregone conclusion. At some point we'll be seeing a new Splinter Cell title. Moving right along, we've got a bit of news on arguably the most anticipated game of 2018. That's an argument I can have for quite a while, but it's definitely up there with the most anticipated, and that is Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4. So how did this game come to be? Well, according to the CEO of the development studio Insomniac and Ted Price, he had an interview with Kotaku and he said this, quote, "Long story short, Sony came to us and asked if we wanted to work with Marvel. Sony and Marvel let us decide what character or universe we wanted to make a game based on, and we chose Spider-Man." So it looks like a lot of other games may have been on the table. Iron Man, Captain America, just to name a few, but I think it's safe to say that Spider-Man was the right option. While a lot of the Marvel IPs are very recognizable, Spider-Man is just at another level when it comes to worldwide appeal. And the fact of the matter is, for years now, probably ever since the release of Batman Arkham, we have been clamoring for a high-quality Spider-Man game. That really hasn't been the case with IPs like Iron Man and Captain America. Sure, if a game came out and it turned out to be really good, I'm sure it would perform well from a commercial standpoint, but those aren't IPs that the majority of the gaming audience has been chomping at the bit to see translated into the gaming world. With Spider-Man, we have been chomping at the bit for a game to do the license justice, and that's what it looks like we're getting with the new Spider-Man title. Whenever we talk about Spider-Man, the obvious question is, when are we going to be able to play this game? It looks so good, and we still don't have an official release date. It was expected to be released in Q2 2018. Honestly, I don't know if that's going to come to fruition at this point. If I was Sony, I might push this game back until September time. It doesn't look like the PlayStation 4 has a standout exclusive for the fall, as Days Gone has been delayed, and with early on in the year, we have God of War next month, we have Detroit Become Human in May. Do you really want to release Spider-Man in June as well? I just don't know if that's the best idea. I think gamers will be satisfied for the first half of the year with God of War and with Detroit Become Human, and we've got other exclusives like Yakuza 6. I think it's fine if Spider-Man releases a little bit later, but then there's also the question of, do you want this game to release around the same time as, say, Red Dead Redemption 2? There's a lot of aspects that have to be analyzed when setting a date for the release of Spider-Man, but I'm sure Sony will figure it out, and I'm sure whenever it does release, it's gonna do very well from a commercial standpoint. And finally, speaking of games that are gonna do well from a commercial standpoint, Final Fantasy VII Remake is gonna sell a lot of copies, but the real question is, when is this game gonna come out? And it's looking more and more likely that this will be, in fact, a PlayStation 5 title. Square Enix has a job listing, and that's been translated by Gamatsu, and that gives you a general idea of how things are going. The description reads, quote, "We are examining determining programs that implement general functions and contents for Final Fantasy VII Remake as necessary on the development team. And while we are reaching a satisfactory level in terms of reproducing the original title in high-quality graphics, we have come to the conclusion that we should aim for an even higher quality in order to meet the expectations of fans. That said, we will tackle the production of this big title by establishing core members of various positions such as level planner, battle planner, designer, engineer, etc. Including existing members of the development team, interested applicants are expected to work as a core member. So it still looks like they're fine-tuning the development studio that's actually working on the game, and I can kind of understand that. I know the majority of work at Square Enix has been being done on Kingdom Hearts 3. Final Fantasy VII Remake has been kind of taking a backseat, but I know so many gamers were expecting to play this game either this year or next year, and I just don't think that's going to be reality. Best case scenario, you see episode 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake at the end of 2019, but even at this point, I don't think that is going to happen. I think this is a 2020-2021 title, and it is probably a PlayStation 5 title. Maybe it'll see something where it's released on the PS4 and the PS5, but yeah, if you're the kind of gamer that really looks forward to one game at a time, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake is that game, really would put the brakes on that. You're not going to see this game for a very long time, and that's unfortunate, but you know how Square Enix is. If you've been a fan of the Square Enix games, you know how long their development cycles go. I mean, look at Final Fantasy 15. We had to wait so long to play that game, and it was kind of released as an unfinished product, but I won't get into that right now. Covered that in depth quite a bit, but that's going to conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about the possibility of a brand new Splinter Cell game in 2018? Possibly an E3 reveal. That'd be very exciting. How about Insomniac choosing Spider-Man over other Marvel characters? Let us know your thoughts on that, and what do you think about what we know about the Final Fantasy VII Remake? It looks like the game won't be released for a long time, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully when it does eventually release, it is up to our quality standards. Sound off in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.